What's up? What's up? What's up? Thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream segment of Mikasa Sukasa. And of course, as always, I'm your humble host, Niko House. I had a couple of quick segments I wanted to cover with you all today because they are extremely important. I believe that they honestly reveal a lot about the left, or the boutique left, I should say. It reveals why it's important to have real conversations. It reveals why it's important to, if you have a disagreement with somebody, which everybody, if you know me by now, y'all know I am known for being about the smoke. So if I have a disagreement with anybody, even people I like talking face to face about it. I like going on camera about it, because everybody can hide behind likes and follows and all that good stuff on Twitter. But when it comes to actually articulating your ideas, because I mean, if I understand everybody doesn't have that ability, but if you are one of those people who talk on camera all day, then you definitely have that ability. And when it comes to articulating your ideas in person where they can be rebutted in person, that, in my opinion, has always been the best way to engage with somebody you disagree with. And when we have seen that happen where leftists, generally debate, and it's usually somebody is probably more like myself. I would consider myself a populist leftist, what I like to refer to as the real left. And then you get the boutique left. Generally, the populist left always embarrasses the boutique left when they get on camera together. And what we saw, of course, with Brie is that happening. And then what we're going to talk about is how Sam reacted to it in the most disgusting of ways. But unfortunately, it's to be expected. All right, so don't forget to like this video, share this video, leave a comment, all that good stuff. And we'll go ahead and get the show on the road. So the first thing we want to check out is Jimmy's interview with the quote-unquote Boogaloo boy. His name is Magnus. And I want to check out really quick just a piece of this eye-opening interview that once again, of course, made me question everything that I thought I knew about anything. So let's check it out.
Find them or talk to them. They're on a million different websites, so I can't deal with them. We can't go out and purge these people from our movement because we've been blown all over the internet. When we were all on Facebook, we had this under control. We never had this problem. But once we got banned off of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, I even got banned off of Google and PayPal. So
that, yeah, I know. I know. And so you're saying the censoring of people more extreme than you, and actually people who are violent, the censoring of their speech is now actually creating a bigger problem because it's harder to identify those people and weed them out.
Absolutely. Like when we were all on Facebook and we would be in group messenger and everything, and a guy was like, oh, I had a really bad day. I think I'm just going to, do something stupid. I'm going to fly off the handle. We can't wait any longer. We could all talk him down and be like, no, that's stupid. Don't go out and do that. That's not what we're about. And we could all work that out. Now that guy is on some parlor chat, buried deeply around a bunch of really iffy people egging him on. And there's no one there to tell him, hey, that's not what this movement's about. We're not here to just go out and shoot cops and commit terrorist attacks. It's never been what it's about.
So I've been told that the Boogaloo boys want a racial civil war.
No, not at all. The whole calling it a Boogaloo, the whole meme behind it was just that it's a bad sequel to original because it came from the Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo movie, which we're done with them. We don't want them anymore, and it's time to go.
And so you do understand, though, when people see you dressed in military gear with your beard and you're carrying an AR-15 or whatever that is, that immediately it scares the shit out of people, and that they think all bad things about you, that you are racist, that you want violence, and because the president just stoked the violence on January 6th and stuff like that. So you do understand that, though, right?
Yeah, I get it. I have disagreements with it, but especially after this whole summer and everything, I've traveled around to a lot of events, and I can tell you now, everyone has guns. The BLM protesters have guns. The Proud Boys have guns. We have guns. The cops have guns. Everybody's walking around really armed. I had a gun pulled on me in Detroit over this summer by bikers when I was doing security for a BLM event, which was funny. So
you did security for a BLM event? How did that come about?
Because we before the mainstream media even wrote a single article about us, we had blown up everywhere because all across the country, we were showing up to George Floyd events, because the unreported story behind all of this is we have a lot in common with the Briahna Taylor story, because within 48 hours of what happened to Briahna Taylor, separately in Maryland, a man named Duncan Lemp was killed in a no-knock raid. The police shot him through his window and shot his pregnant girlfriend. They then lied about why they got the warrant. They lied and said they shot him from inside the building when it came out only 2 weeks ago, almost a year later, they killed him from outside of the building. So then we started going out as libertarians, going out to BLM events with, Briahna Taylor signs, Duncan Lemp signs, being like, hey, this is across the political spectrum. This police state thing that's going on, they're killing everybody. And we're out here and we're in support. We disagree with this. So all summer long, we did both marched in solidarity and in some cases did security for BLM events where you had these other groups coming to fight people. And we were welcomed with open arms across all of these. Like, I can send you a million Facebook posts and live stream of people being like, we're so happy you're here. We love you. And then the media establishment caught wind that there was armed white libertarian dudes marching in support with a bunch of socialists and BLM and everything. And they said, unacceptable. And they dropped the hammer. And that's when all of the Department of Homeland Security and anti-extremist researchers came out of the woodwork and like, oh, these are white supremacists. These are evil people. They're only there to kill people and everything. And the ride began.
Okay, so I felt like, I know I was a little bit long, but I wanted to give that context there because like okay, so I don't know if y'all remember a few nights ago, I was actually live streaming when that speech actually was going viral. I was like, oh, I don't know if y'all heard about that speech. And I was going to cover it, but I ended up having to cover something else and just got distracted. But that night I ended up doing some more research into the Boogaloo Boys because I was confused by the anti-imperialist message. Behind the fact that they're calling out both parties, behind the fact that they're up there defending people of color and black people and like just calling out this system in a very, very accurate way. So I was like, hold up. I thought that the Boogaloo Boys were supposed to be these crazy right-wing militia insanity people like the Proud Boys. Not only are they not the Proud Boys, but if you watch Fiorella and Pasta at the Convo Couch, they interviewed Magnus last night as well, and they are hated by the Proud Boys, in fact, because they're not conservative enough for them, or their version of conservatism, I should say. This particular gentleman is actually queer, and he even talked about, once again, in Fiorella and Johnny's, or in Pasta and Johnny's interview at the Convo Couch, that he's actually seen the video being spread around the internet, and then some people manipulated the video to make him sound less queer than he actually is by like slowing the speech down and making his voice deeper. It's like a tactic you see used to smear other people and make them sound worse than they are sometimes. But he was talking about the fact that there are a bunch of LGBT. In fact, in his profile picture, I think it's like a rainbow flag. He believes the entirety of the policing institution is bad, which is what I believe. It's part of the corrupt elite. So he's consistent in that regard. So he's not going to pretend like, oh, I need guns to defeat my government and then go defend cops. Instead, he and his people put their bodies on the line for black people who were protesting. Because when you go into an environment, if you know anything about history, when a white person, or anybody, but specifically white people, you go into an environment with the intention of protecting black people, and you do that with a weapon, you are putting your body on the line. There is a chance that you could be killed. Because you're basically, when you enter into that space with that weapon, you're letting the police state know, and actual white supremacists know, you're willing to do what it takes to protect that black body that you are trying to disparage, or they are trying to disparage. I knew that the smears had to be off a little bit, but I did not expect them to be this far off. Now I have to admit, and I also got to give credit, because he was like, oh no, there are some crazy factions, or like small factions where there are people who do dumb. He specifically said, yeah, every now and then there might be an idiotic neo-Nazi who does some dumb shit, and then as you were listening to in the beginning, he's like, before we got silenced and attacked and smeared, we were able to keep them in any of the crazy people that might have wanted to go off the reservation, because that's what happened. The system drives people into one extreme or the other. This is a well-known fact. So he and his people would stop people from falling into one extreme or the other. But when that apparatus got taken away from them, that's when you started seeing some of the crazy stuff. And he even admitted, he's like, oh, there's probably a chance that some of the feds have probably infiltrated the group. It's not like they can track them as easily anymore. Like him and his group, because they've been kicked off all social media. This interview was extremely eye-opening. And not only this one, but I strongly encourage you all to check out the one that he had with the Convo Couch. I saw people attacking Jimmy about this interview, and I was kind of like, damn, they're like, he didn't push back on him or anything like that, and had a Boogaloo boy on there, and a white supremacist. I'm like, hold up, who's saying white supremacist? Is it Sam Seder? Okay, and all the leftist best crew was saying white supremacist. Well, let me go check this out for myself, because it's probably not a white supremacist, because everything they say, basically the opposite is true. Basically the opposite is true. So I go watch the interview myself, and this was the result. There is a multi-ethnic LGBTQ. It's a mix. He said it's a bunch of them, because he was joking with Jimmy, talking about the fact that he's not straight. They literally go run security for BLM protests. The last time I heard fucking Briahna Taylor's name being said on camera was when I said it. People keep forgetting what she dealt with. And when you are close to the situation in any way, form, or fashion, and this hits home, it's hard to forget. And that's why he brought it up. I haven't heard George Floyd's name brought up since Joe Biden won the fucking election. And Fiorella and Pasta, who have gone to many of these protests where the Boogaloo boys show up, she said they can confirm everything that he's saying. This is true. Whenever the Boogaloo boys show up, the BLM protesters and the local Antifa protesters would all say, no, they're not with the Proud Boys. They're with us. We need them. They're protecting us. This is scary to me for a lot of reasons. And I think that one of the primary reasons this is terrifying to me is because, do y'all see what they did with this group? I might not agree with all of them, but on economics perhaps, but also I don't agree with anybody 100% on economics, actually. So I don't care. But they believe we should be unifying behind social justice movements, that there should be social justice and equity all over the country. They are anti-imperialists like me. Listen, y'all, Sam Seder and all these motherfuckers will sit here and tell you how much they hate white supremacists. When the last time you seen Sam Seder put his motherfucking body on the line for a black life? Please tell me. Because I've seen Pasta and Fiorella and Johnny put their lives on the line at protests. I've seen Pasta put himself in harm's way to protect me, Fiorella, and Johnny. Countless times, actually, at this point. If he ever sensed any aggression coming from somebody, and he would immediately step in. When the last time Sam Seder or any of these white neo-progressives hopped off the goddamn internet, went out there and protested and put their body on the line for black people to be calling anybody else a white supremacist? And the same ones who are complaining that, oh, that's a white supremacist group, white supremacists, oh my God, we hate white supremacists. Hold up, yo, real quick, bring it back. November was only a month and a half ago, almost 2 months ago now. Weren't y'all just telling us to vote for a segregationist? Weren't y'all literally bullying people? Like literally bullying people to get them to vote for a segregationist. And I'm supposed to think that y'all are our allies and this guy isn't? Michael Costelli, thanks for the tip on Rockfin. North American Ape said, I like how in true Weasel fashion, Sam brings up this interview with Magnus. Sam, what did it have to do with you getting smoked by Brie? 100% agree. Iceman Vamp, I went into a Boogaloo rabbit hole after Jimmy's interview. It's not a white supremacy organization, and that's according to ADL. You're absolutely correct. Actually, Misty showed us that. And like, once again, so we're going to pretend like the Democratic Party, because we know the Republican Party has fascists, like white supremacists. Like, that's pretty much a well-accepted fact. Colin Powell himself said that the GOP has a large racist set of, like, so we know that already. It's already been accepted, but we're going to pretend like the Democrats, because because he says they have white supremacists in his group. Guess what? I'm here to tell you, there are plenty of white supremacists on the progressive left. They don't call it that, though. What do you think the white savior complex is? That is a huge element of white supremacy, is the savior complex. So we gonna pretend like there is no white supremacist faction of the Democratic Party. So I'm confused as to how the only segregationists left in the in the public of, like, in elected office from either party managed to become the nominee for your party and then become the president. Because I'm trying to, can somebody make 2 + 2 = 8 for me real quick? Because I'm trying to understand the math here. How did the segregationists not become, or how did the segregationists become the president instead of a laughingstock if there isn't a white supremacist faction of the Democratic Party? Somebody got to help me understand that. I have not heard a single right-wing militia group ever say all cops are bad, or I got guns to protect myself from police. They're not my friend. They're not here for me. He said we were there to protect BLM. If you watch the interview, he said we were there to protect BLM. They were there to protect property for the elite. That's what they were there for. I would absolutely unite with this guy. Absolutely, 100%. Once again, even if he had more views that I disagree with, which he doesn't have really any, I mean, like I said, probably the economy. The dude was a hippie. He was literally raised by hippies. So, like, maybe the economy is the only thing that we might disagree on slightly, like this much. He might be right, to be honest with you, because things are pretty bleak. So maybe I'm not as woke as him on the economy. But even if I didn't agree with most of the things he said, once again, it is the epitome of white privilege to tell black people they cannot align with someone that they might disagree with, or even vehemently disagree with, if we can converge on the major issues. Because yo white ass, Sam Seder, you 13% of the population? Because no. And honestly, who knows? It may have gone down, it may have gone up. But I'm a black man. We're 13% of the population, even less than that vote, because obviously you have to take into account the age. And then even less than that, get the chance to vote. Because, you know, your little good friend Joe Biden gave everybody felonies. And so probably 5% of our fucking population is eligible to have some type of political influence by voting and engaging in the system. You think we have the leeway to just pick and choose, like anyone who disagrees with us, that we can't even talk to them? We can't even try to win them over? That's where we at? Oh, that's it. I get it. Y'all scared to talk to the other side because you're bitches. Because that's the only reason I could ever think that you would be scared to talk to somebody who disagrees with you. Scared to do real journalism and interview someone who disagrees with you. Scared to talk to somebody on camera in person rather than tweeting at them on Twitter. Because you're a punk ass. See, I'm not scared to talk to anybody. I'll go up to a cop and talk to a cop. I'm not scared of anybody. Jimmy isn't scared of anybody. Paz and Fiorella aren't scared of anybody. Brie isn't scared of anybody. What it seems like is y'all little 5'6", 5'7" punk asses are scared to talk to people because you're a punk. And that's why you have to ad hominem attack anyone who is brave enough to talk to the other side, because you are a punk ass and you want everybody to be a punk ass like you. You're worried that you might have to think critically one day by engaging with the other side and act like an adult. You're worried that you have no idea how to be a journalist that doesn't have their career foundation lies in the division that this system is perpetuating. That's why you don't want people to talk to the other side. That's why you want to really, bro, these white people all day white progressives on Twitter spend all day telling me and Brie and Fiorella and Johnny that we're actually secret neo-Nazis. Think about that. Think about that, bro. And now all of them are experts on Fred Hampton. Once again, all of them are experts on Fred Hampton now, because the movie's coming out in 2 days or 2 weeks. So now all of them are experts on it. They all want to talk about what Fred Hampton. Bro, once again, we've been covering Fred Hampton here, talking about Fred Hampton here once a week for forever. Paz and Fiorella have done multiple exclusive segments on just Fred Hampton. We've been talking about Fred Hampton. We've been talking about the Rainbow Coalition. Where the hell y'all been at? Y'all don't know about any of this shit. The reason that we are advocating for conversations like this is because we actually know our history. You are a failed comedian, and your ilk are just a bunch of punk ass jock writers trying to maintain the status quo because it makes them feel all good inside. And also they're reliant on it. People keep saying white guilt. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not white guilt. It used to be that. Once upon a time, I did used to think that it was that, and it probably was that. But it's different now. It's white clout chasing. That's what it's about now. It's not white guilt anymore. They have absolutely no shame in smearing black people in order to maintain this idea that they are somehow self-righteous and don't like white supremacists as they try to bully you into voting for Joe Biden, the literal segregationists. They're literally trying to convince you, oh, no, that's where we draw the line, white supremacy, except for when we got to nominate the white supremacist and get him elected to beat the white supremacist, because that's the only way white supremacy can be beat, is if you beat white supremacy. Come on, bro. All right, I'm going to tell you the last couple of super chats before we switch topics. Kisk City, appreciate the super chat. Anti-Gravity 74, Democrats, Republicans are different sides of the white supremacy coin, but also I wouldn't take what people in interviews say at face value. I don't take anything at face value. I should know that. Come on now. You might have missed the conversation I had in the beginning, but my team has actually worked, or like when they went to the protest and they interview all the sides, right? Proud Boys, Antifa, BLM, and our Trump supporters and the Boogaloo Boys, and they confirmed everything he said, as far as what they've seen from the engagements between BLM and Boogaloo Boys. So, I mean, if you can't go to the primary source, my thing is, everything said about him or them came from the mainstream media. Why would I take anything they say at face value? Based off of the logic that we have seen in the past, sound logic anyway, anything the mainstream media says, I immediately am like, that's wrong, that's bullshit. Let me go ahead. Now I gotta assume this guy's a good guy until it's proven wrong from some type of primary source or independent source is actually trustworthy and isn't being backed by mainstream media. Because once again, they try to silence and suppress them and remove them from everything and everybody, right? For months now. For months, this has been like this. But they couldn't keep the Proud Boys' faces and names out the media. All the mainstream media was talking about them. These people they had the hammer put down on them in the course of over 2 weeks and they never got mentioned again. Not the case anymore. Now, because of his viral speech a couple of days ago. But not the case also with the Proud Boys. The media ate that up. They wouldn't stop. Why? Because the Proud Boys, and I told you, the Proud Boys at large are the same quote unquote organization as Antifa at large. It's two sides of the same coin. Antifa, it's like BLM, the quote unquote 501c4 organization, versus BLM, the actual movement. Those two things are not the same thing. They're the same side of the same coin. Once again, did Antifa show up to the inauguration in any capacity? No. Proud Boys didn't either. But, you know, it's just very coincidental. It's just too coincidental. Sports droppings: Rodney Applewhite, Casey Goodson, Sincere Pierce, and many others murdered by cops since election. Not a word from TYT, Sam Cedar, the cocktail crew. I mean, once again, Briahna Taylor was murdered for a gentrification project. The DA lied. The AG lied. No one got in trouble. Black issues are no longer cool. It was cool 2 months ago, 3 months ago. They're not cool no more. We're not cool. So now it's time for us to shut up and fall back in line. Henry DeShazo, thank you very much for the super chat. Audie MRR, thank you for the tip on Rockfin. You said Niko and Convo Couch. Enough said. And all right, so really quick, I know a lot of y'all been waiting for this one. I got some things to say. So y'all remember Sam got his ass handed to him by Brie on the forced to vote debate. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all ever heard of losing gracefully, being graceful in a loss? Well, if y'all heard of it, I don't think that Sam Cedar has actually heard of it, because bruh, look at this. He says, to recap, I was yelled at for 3 hours for thinking that the forced the vote leader, Jimmy Dore, saying AOC is the reason we don't have Medicare for all, was unhelpful. And in that very moment, he was praising an armed right-wing. This is a lie. See the lie. Didn't watch the interview, but immediately goes on to engage in mainstream media. So once again, guys, if you had any doubts as to whether or not Mr. Magnus was telling the truth, well, Sam Cedar doesn't like him. Sam Cedar's quoting mainstream media talking points. That means I would trust Magnus in this case. But anyway, and then he says, he was praising an armed right-wing militiaman who wants to destroy the government, which is not the case either. He says, which does M for A. Oh, so now you support Medicare for all again. That's so cute. It's so cute and convenient. This is what they do, right? They prop up the policies we need to use them against us, basically, and probably the establishment. Now, before we get to Brie's response, and I'm also talk about that, I got to give my guy Nick a shout out. Socials MMA. Who won the debate between Briahna Joy Gray and Sam Cedar? 11,000 votes. 64% said Brie. And 35.7% are idiots. So, let's go ahead and talk about this shit. What do y'all think that means? What do y'all think that means? As a matter of fact, let me go. I ain't put my face on here for that. What do y'all think that means? Sam spent this interview. Yeah, he spent that interview talking over her, cutting her off over and over again, to the point where Brie said, "I'll let you finish. Why do you keep cutting me off? Why do you keep cutting me off?" Just kept talking, kept cutting her off, kept talking. Brie spent 5 seconds after he cut her off again, spent 5 seconds yelling, like raising her voice to say, "Stop. I'm trying to get you to stop talking about Jimmy Dore when 15 million Americans don't have health care. Stop bringing it up Jimmy Dore. Stop making it about Jimmy Dore." So somehow that gets taken to this. 12. See, this is why you don't tweet at 12:18 a.m. when you've been on one all damn night, because you could tell he was probably drinking a little something, because he was getting embarrassed. People were like, "Bro, you got roasted. You got destroyed." To recap, I was yelled at for 3 hours. Bro, did you really just try to hit Briahna with the angry black woman shit? Did you really just try that? Did you really just try that? It's so funny, bro. Why is it that whenever a black person debates another leftist, quote unquote, this shit always happens. People who have seen my debates, you know, I'm not a passionate person. I'm actually just angry. Or I'm not confident. I'm actually just a narcissist. Brie wasn't speaking passionately about literally the issue of healthcare as we were in the middle of a pandemic. She was just yelling for 3 hours, not speaking with the tone of someone who was a concerned person, as he was nonchalantly pretending as if it wasn't a big deal, as if we didn't just see the squad squander an opportunity to at least begin to talk and force a conversation about Medicare for all in the middle of a pandemic on the House floor. In fact, decided actually before we even started the Medicare for all conversation or the forced to vote conversation, they were already going to vote for Nancy Pelosi, who just lost a bunch of seats in the House already. So didn't even deserve to be that. Had not even come up with a plan to defeat Nancy Pelosi. Didn't have a person like a runner-up. Like, hey man, if this shit goes south and Nancy Pelosi doesn't win, we got somebody right here. Nope, didn't have none of that. But he nonchalantly, yeah, man, but Jimmy, man, but Jimmy. Once again, how many times have we heard Emma or Anna take that exact same tone? Never does anyone take issue with either of them talking like that. If we have an issue with them, it's because they're ridiculously stupid when it comes to policy. Let me go ahead and show y'all Brie's response. Classy, as usual. Oh, first of all, no, hold up. The fact that this got 11,000 likes is absolutely fucking disgusting. So let me just go ahead and say that's disgusting. That's disgusting. The left is doomed if this is what people like. Now, granted, he probably has an AstroTurf account that's backed by a bunch of like establishment bots, but it's disgusting. It is. It really is. And Brie reacting with class as usual. It was sincerely a pleasure to have you on. I'm sorry if my tone offended you. I invite folks to take a listen to what I thought was a valuable conversation. That's a damn shame if she got to do that. That's a damn shame. She has to pretend like she don't know what the hell Sam is talking about. Because if she does give him a reaction at all, then she will be perceived as an angry black woman. It doesn't change it. So she can't change anyone else's perspective by being honest about how she feels. Sam's gonna lie, and she has to basically pretend like she don't see it. And this is how black leftists have to police themselves around white leftists that disagree with them all the time. And I really, really hope that people are finally seeing this shit for what it is. I really do. Because this is unacceptable. And you could tell because, well, Brie wasn't really feeling all that happy in Oh, no, real quick. Matter of fact, so after this was done, and let me retweet this real quick. And Sam got dragged through the comments. Just dragged. This is what here. You want to hear this non-apology, as everyone expected him to have? Folks have taken issue with my use of yelled at in this tweet about Jimmy Dore, leader of Forced to Vote, praising the Boogaloo movement. It was imprecise and I apologize for it. Admonished through 3 hours would have been more appropriate of a phrase. No, y'all were having a debate. You were having a debate. So why can't you just say, yo, we had a disagreement and, we had an intense conversation for 3 hours and No, it was, I was admonished. I was yelled at. And then somehow it still goes back to Jimmy. Bro, it's sick. It's disgusting. I'm getting worried about the guy. Does he need some help? Does he need to blink twice? If I'm Jimmy, I'm getting security. Not because I'm worried about the government, because I'm worried about Sam Seder hiding in the bushes, creep behind the fucking window, looking in that shit while Jimmy's taking a shower. That's what I'm worried about at this point. My wife isn't even this obsessed with me. My dog isn't even this obsessed with me. And I got a dog, and it's a dog. Dog's always obsessed with it. Like, my dog's really obsessed with me. He's not even this obsessed with me. But Sam can't keep Jimmy's name out of his mouth. Didn't even really apologize. So he's trying to claim that folks have taken issue with my use of yelled at in this tweet about Jimmy Dore. No. The tweet was about Force the Vote and your debate and the 3-hour discussion you had on that debate against Briahna Joy Gray. And you just happened to also make it about Jimmy Dore to try and make yourself feel better and get some likes and retweets from your little sycophants to make yourself feel better. But it was about Brie. So you can't even be man enough to own up to the fact that you said a fucked up statement and you shouldn't have said it. It's deflection. Of course, as usual. Sam Seder, Eric Vugat, thank you very much. Sam Seder is well beyond his abilities. Absolutely, he's out of his depth. That is for sure. Christiananda, people shame Jimmy for reaching out to the other side. But when Anna softballs Feinstein, Tim Black softballs Brazil, Emma softballs Warren, crickets. Or the fact that Anna interviewed Madeleine Albright? Are you kidding me? Bruh. And no one had anything to say about it. No one had anything to say about it. I mean, we did, but Anti-Gravity 74. Next time, let's just have Jank and Sam Seder head the next Force the Vote movement coming up. Then they have no excuse. It'll soothe their giant egos. No. You don't understand. So that would be asking them to do something other than talk on camera and lie to people. That would also require them to seek accountability for politicians who do not engage in Force the Vote. And we all know that's a no-go. Urban 808 said Sam is a comedian. Yeah. Make sure I didn't miss anybody on Rock Fan before I finish up here. All right, so now I want to check out real quick Brie's response, because I could tell she was getting a little irritated. So we're going to check on some of this. I'm going to check on some of this. Putting a black... Oh. This is true too, though. Putting a black woman on money to distract from the fact that you aren't giving black people money is Democratic Party neoliberal bullcrap. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and retweet that. I was going to cover that tomorrow, but yes, that's 100% true. She said, I had no plans to harp on or excavate any of this. I appreciate the conversation and Sam's willingness to engage, but his choice to lob petty snipes days later instead of having the integrity to confront me when we were live on air is shameful. I just want y'all to know, like, that's Brie's version of cussing somebody out. I don't know if y'all know that. That's basically Brie's version of cussing somebody out. She's too nice, bruh. She's too nice. This is her thing. She's just, that's why to try and use the angry black woman trope on her is ridiculous. Because she's so damn nice. All the time. To the point where I'm like, I feel like, because I've dealt with it at a lower level, and I know because she's a blue check and because of her background, like the moment when you're a black person who decides to detract, if like, okay, a black person who worked with or for Bernie Sanders, if you detract from the pro-Bernie narrative, then whatever Bernie's doing or saying, you better be doing the same thing because you're only supposed to be here to protect him and uplift him, and you better not detract away from my grandpa. When you decide to do that, because I did so earlier in 2019, Brie has detracted greatly from where Bernie Sanders' message is right now. You know, she wasn't pushing Biden. She wasn't playing like she was holding people accountable for Force the Vote, demanding people speak up. Then you become a target, not only from the neoliberals, but from these white neo-progressives who claim to be against the Democratic Party, but constantly use the Democratic Party's talking points and uplift them, even when they put up segregationists. What What is it going to take, people? What is it going to take? I implore, uplift the right people. Uplift the right people. Celebrate the right people. Stop falling for this white savior complex bullshit. Because when you can have the white people who are some, like, bro, how are you going to use? You going to use the angry black woman trope in the same tweet? You're going to talk about a white supremacist, supposed white supremacist? Do you understand how fucking disillusioned these people are? They are in a different world. They don't even see how ridiculous they are. They don't even see the irony. I would work with Magnus from the Boogaloo Boys before I ever pretended that Sam Seder was a good faith actor. When you can look 15 million Americans in the face and say, you don't deserve health care because Jimmy Dore was mean to me. Because Sam's straight. Sam got money. Sam family got money. He gonna be all right. You're not. But hey, keep giving him super chats. He'll be fine. I gotta get up out of here, guys. I got an event I have to go to. But like this video, share this video. Make sure you subscribe to us on Rockfin. Like. Leave a comment below. I see we have, Jesus, 1,092 people in here. Where y'all go? Where y'all come from? But anyway, thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream segment of Mi Casa Su Casa. Don't forget to like this video and share this video and subscribe and go out and fight for what you believe to be right. Unify, engage. Do not be afraid to engage with anyone. I don't give a damn. Put a KKK grand jacket in front of me. I guarantee you I'll talk them off the ledge. I promise you I will. I'm not scared. And you shouldn't be scared to talk to anybody either if you're equipped with the right tools. Don't be one of these punk ass neo-progressives out here. All right? I know this is the MCSC network. We got real people in here. We got some gangsters in our chat. All right? And if you ain't one, that's okay. I got a few spare ones I can loan you. Always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.